So today we're going to be looking at the best strikers you can get and who you should be looking at for any SBCs, any purchases that you make in the near future. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for Eldorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with Eldorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Now as it stands, there is a lot of options. So many different ways you could go about it, depending on your Playstyle Plus preference. Do you prefer having the finesse, the power shot, the trivela? You might have your mechanic that you've certainly worked, or none of that matters. And it all matters on the body type. Are they a run-through striker, a hold-up striker? There's lots and lots to go with. So we're just going to get straight through it. There's quite a few that could do with an Evo or two, maybe just even the slightly okay category. Now I think there's one debate that you can kind of make, and you would be 100% right every time. The team of the years are incredible. At least 3 of them are. Mbappe is Mbappe for a reason. If he went through his price, I'm pretty sure he's still coming in at the massive total of 11 million coins. You kind of don't be that good and not have a price tag like that. It is just one of a kind. We look then at the kind of CR7s of the world. They did him so well this year. 4.8 mil. He's obviously got the quick step, the power shot, and then the acrobatic. Was kind of expecting a power header or something, but acrobatic works in itself. And we already know Smith is outrageously good in herself as well. She's another one that comes in with very, very good profits. Quick step, first touch, power shot is nuts. Now, the final one, sure, she's still very good as a team of the year. She's got some decent playstyle pluses as well. Obviously with the aerial, the finesse, and then the press proven. But realistically, she's the last one on the list in comparison to the 4. So I personally would have a kind of top meta on these 2, or these 3 in fact, and have her in the very usable. Because then we've still got to think of the R9s, the Cruyffs, the Cantonars, some of the absolute elite. I don't think she would be amongst them personally in this game. And it's a very hard one to kind of go with the usable and very usable, because if you are a semi-decent striker in the game, you kind of can make them work regardless. They may not have every answer to every door, but they do manage to do it. It's the same as someone like Isaac. If you have a look at him at the moment, or Isaac, however you want to pronounce it, you've got him in the game, and to be honest, he's a standard card. Good pace, good shooting, good dribbling. Physicality needs a bit of work. Obviously, he's got the 4-5. He's got the finesse shot. He's a fantastic striker, 150,000. But realistically, if I was to choose between him, baby R9, if then we go further down, we look at someone like a 93 Dalglish, if we go against a 91 Smith, does he come up trumps every time? Even though I could probably get a lot out of him, he's not going to be in that sort of scenario of I would choose Isaac over a 90 R9, trying to think of a closer example, somebody like Cantona, Griezmann 92, Martinez is definitely up there as well. The double playstyle plus adds another element to it, and I do think with Isaac's case, he needs to be in more of a usable category than he does in very usable, because there is strikers now that have that better quality about them. Now, I don't think it works for everybody, because I do think when you look at the likes of Drogba and Di Natale, I think them two personally have got a wonderful amount of skill around them. You've obviously got finesse for Di Natale. He's normally the kind of pacey wizard striker, whereas Drogba's still coming in at 200 at that level, but he's the powerhouse. He's the person that just absolutely runs through. You can obviously get a weak foot upgrade, but it doesn't make any difference for him, unfortunately. So realistically right now, I'd probably go Drogba in the usable and very usable for Di Natale. I'm not saying that the usable is bad by any shadow of imagination. This year, I feel like they've made it their mission to make a lot of people almost be able to use them. Like, you've got your top, so you've got your Mbappe, you've got your R9, but then you've still got players that you can use if you don't have them, and still be semi in the lead still. Like, you're not necessarily at a massive disadvantage. So I do like that they've gone with that. I do think when you look at the likes of Ham, R9, I don't think there's any question on them, to be honest. I still think these are the strikers of dreams, of course. They are the most incredible strikers that you'll see in the game, and it will absolutely stay that way. When you look at Ham's multiple versions, you've got 3 mil, 1.7, and 1.1. Regardless of the version, she's outrageously good. That's just natural. And then the same for R9, even in his base version, to be honest. You've got him coming in at a 90. He's still unbelievable. 4.3 on his 90, 6.4 on his 94, and 10.6 on his 95. It's R9. His ability, just in general, is incredible. If you've used a lone team of the year Pele, imagine that, but at least 5 times better. R9 is that truly good. Which then kind of leaves a hole, because I've kind of gone with a lot of people that really wouldn't necessarily miss out anymore. I think Nunez and Openda, 2 of them massively there for an Evo, to be honest. I think they're base cards, and it's why I said with Nunez at the start, and the same with Gakpo as well. They've got a very good base from this upgrade, and Evo just transforms them. Now we're getting the double play style pluses. The money that you put in during Centurions could now be more worth it, with him already having that quick step, all 3 of them with the quick step, to maybe get a finesse, a power shot, a Travella plus an upgrade on top. Obviously, Gakpo might be the last to it because he's 89 rated, whereas we are now starting to see more 88s in the maximum overall for an evolution, which is going to be nice. But then we kind of look through a few of them. I think CR7 is quite an easy one and the very usable. His just ability in the game is always going to be incredible. We have the Dalglish baby one. This one, to be honest, I've never really been that much of a fan. He's coming in at 139. I love the base version, but he's definitely run his course a little bit. I'm much more of a fan of the 93, if I'm being honest, like anybody should be. I'd say you could get the usable out of that Dalglish. I don't know if I'd quite say a miss in this case, but still just about there. We have Hugo coming in, and I would say more usable for the SBC. And then the same with Sesko, to be honest. I'm kind of debating with him because we've used him and he was decent. It was a decent card, but I didn't think he was absolutely spectacular. He's got a great ability on the ball. Obviously, his aerial plus and his press proven work seamlessly next to each other. But I still think he's got a bit to give. I would go into more the usable category for him. I was a big fan of Torres, though. I must admit, there's a lot of people that don't really recommend him that much. I really think Torres is incredible. I like the rapid and obviously the shooting play style as kind of like a combination. It works well for this pacier sort of striker. Now, obviously, I would prefer the quick step, but I do think he is one of the ones that is well worth it. Kolomoane, as much as you could probably use all 4 of these, would be suited massively for a lovely Evo. We have Forlan. At this point, actually, I would probably miss out on him. I'd wait for the next upgrade. We're going to get grassroots heroes. We're going to get plenty of heroes coming in the next few promos, as icons seem to have taken the spotlight over Team of the Year and then in Future Star as well. I'd imagine they will come back with a big bang, so I will imagine that Forlan is in line to potentially get one as well, regardless of him just having a winter wildcard. Ginola, definitely not as kind of meta-relevant as he has done in previous games. He's still coming in at a monstrous price of 2.1. And obviously his ability with the 5.5. Yeah, he has got the 5.5 still. With obviously the quick step as well. Is always going to be nice. Fowler, I'd go into usable. I think they did really well with the kind of mid-range of strikers in Future Star. We've obviously got Victor as well. I mean, he's a good striker, but he's still waiting out, in my opinion. I don't think he's quite in the top. You can definitely get it out of him, but he's still not quite there, in my opinion. He needs a double play style at this point and ready to kind of take it to that next level. We then have Kluivert. It's an okay SBC. There's nothing too crazy on him. 284,000. Travella and Power Shot. I thought he was okay. I'd probably miss out on him, to be honest. I don't think he's that much worth it, in my opinion. It's only because, well, I doubt it's only because his son got the Player of the Month, but his SBC was released at the same time, so it's a nice father-son kind of duo SBC, if you would, but I just don't think he's going to be worth it, in my opinion. Lookman, I like him on the wing, to be honest. I think as a striker, I'd probably miss out on him as well. Wing-wise, I think he's got the usability in him, but striker, not as much. Morgan, which is a hilarious one because this SBC was time ago. This was a long time ago now. It expired on the 11th of the 11th, and yet she's still in the question. 90 rated. Obviously, we'll be able to go into evolutions in the near future. Probably won't be yet. So a hold on to her might be worth it. I think for me, I wouldn't use her just now, but maybe in an evolution future, she could be pretty decent. Same with Peugeot to some extent. I think to start with, she was incredible. Now she's definitely lost the touch a little bit, in my opinion. We have a bit of Rogers. I actually really like that SBC. He will duck down into Evo very quickly because there's going to be players that just take his role too quickly. And more than likely, you've got strikers that are already better than him anyway. We've already got as well Mbappe's coming up here. I don't think there's any question that he is by far one of the best cards, no matter the version. Even if the player of the month is that expensive, he's still Mbappe, regardless of that version. He is outrageously good in every single one of them. From gold all the way up, he's the final gold card that is still over 1 million coins. I'm praying that he is now. I've said that because he was 1.1 earlier. 1.07, so he is still over that million, which is just nuts that he's still that far, and no other card even comes close, especially being a gold card since the start. So you can kind of see it will dip down under eventually. That's just how markets work, as they do get more and more cards as we do go further into the game. Which leads us with a lot of icons, to be honest. I think they've gone really heavy with plenty of icon variants that are just slightly better at this point. We've got the likes of Smith, easily there. I think when we look at Lotta, she's going to be there. Socrates now has probably run his course for me. I'd possibly even say like Morgan, holding out for an Evo could be a great work for him. The only problem is with all of these holding out, you're only going to get 1, 2, maybe 3 before they get another upgrade. How long until Nunez gets another SBC card or another promo card? Same with Gakpo, Kolomowane. Morgan's probably the safest bet because obviously she has retired. This is an end of an era SBC. More than likely, if we are going to get another version of her, it would be at the right end of the game. Whereas Socrates could get one in the next promo. He could get one in the promo after that. So putting your Evo into his basket might not be the case. Alan Shearer, we actually just got him packed as well. We used him and then we've managed to pack him as well from an 80 to 83 times 2 of all things. It was solid. It was a good upgrade for him. I'm not normally a fan of Shearer's upgrades. It never really bodes well for the game, to be honest. I think other than, I don't think they're going to have it on here. His like 97 card or something like that. Was it 96? He got the 94, or I'm thinking it might be the 94. I thought it was a different one. I don't know what he got in FIFA 21, but in terms of an upgrade, it's nice and it's got a little bit of flair to it, but it still just wasn't great. Whereas I think they did really well with this one. Giving him the 90 pace was a massive upgrade. Obviously the shooting was already there. Dribbling, physicality. It's got the aerial and finesse shot, which is nice. He was a good enough card, and they've gone from a 3-3 to a 4-5, yeah, 4-star, 5-star, which was a good enough transition into at least a moderate striker in this game. Sanchez, very much similar, kind of more wing bases if anything, but I do think he's slightly better than Lookman. Son, still usable, but I need a little bit more from him now. He's one of them ones that will always pop up. You could leave him for an SB, you could leave him for an evolution, but realistically in the future he's gonna get another upgrade. We're only talking about his 90 striker in this one. Obviously his winger or based winger would be kind of different, even though you could possibly argue that one's better for the striker, just having that Travella as well. But he's a solid card. I just think the upgrade is now warranted a little bit more. We've got plenty of top-end strikers. Same as Tevez, he's kind of just there in no man's land. Usable, but not by much. We then obviously have Van Nistelrooy. We have Van Persie, who I do like, but I think he's under Torres now in an SBC. Del P could do with an Evo. Any upgrade to give him a double, I think that would be quite an easy one. Butra, I mean, it's Butra. He's got a massive upgrade. His kind of base card was starting to feel a little bit stale at times, but this is now almost a reincarnation of him. A beautiful card that's come out of him, and it is just wonderful as a striker. Neymar, As much as Neymar isn't necessarily a striker, he tends to end up in that position once you get into the 97, 98s of him. I like him for the skills. I think I'd be shocked if I put him anywhere underneath here. We got Jota coming as a flashback SBC as well, which is going to be interesting. Rooney, on the other hand, I think he's okay. He's not necessarily great. Again, like Shearer, he had a brilliant card in his, what was it, the cover star. That was a stunning card. But the problem was, we got it right at the end of the game. I didn't really get to experience it that much. With this Rooney, it's nice, but he could do with something extra. He's got the 4-4. I could see an Evo being needed for him. Or could I? No, you know what? We are being a bit harsh there with him. I think the Evo is needed for the double, but it's a bit harsh for him. Same as Smith. Obviously, Bale comes under the top. Same as Cantona. And then we kind of get down to the top of the top. The tippity top of this. Now, if we're going to go backwards on this one, because obviously there's going to be a lot that just goes into this top meta category. The players that you kind of expect more so than anything. Your Pushkasses, your Cruyffs, your Hams. Did I not put Ham in here already? Your Thierry Henry, who is outrageous, by the way. This is an unbelievable upgrade for him. He normally doesn't get something that turns him into this early on. Like, he tends to get a nice upgrade. We mainly saw it during Ultimate Birthday. He did have a Thunderstruck, was nice. Last time before, he didn't get anything until the end of the game in Shapeshifters, and obviously then a cover star as well. But then before that, we got a Moments right at the end. This is the quickest we've got such a nice upgrade for him. It's a very, very top-end card by any stretch. We then obviously have got some others. We got the likes of Bobby Charlton. I would go into more very usable. I love him as a card, but he needs a little bit more in my opinion. Vinny, oh, you know what? Vinny as a winger is in the top meta, but I'd say as a striker, he would go underneath all of these cards. Cruyff as well, I'd say this version would, but is kind of on this day as more of a cam. Eto'o puts himself in there. Dalglish would definitely go into the very usable. We then have the likes of Haaland's 95, which is just outrageous with his 94. Kane would be very usable. Prince would be a miss in my opinion. Rashford, I would go into Evo, but I'm going to go usable. Again, more wing play, but he is known for a striking role. Messi, very much like Neymar, he's not necessarily a full-on striker. He's kind of a versatile free roam around the box. So I think for the 93, as a sole out-and-out striker, I would go very usable. Just as an only striker. No cam that's a shadow striker. No winger that's an inside forward. As a standalone striker, could you play him on his own up front? I think you could, but not to the ability of what Mbappe, R9, Eto'o could, in my opinion. I think you'd have to do a lot of legwork in comparison to the others to get him there. We then have Sami Kerr. We have Alvarez, Leao, obviously. Martinez, obviously. Ooh, we'll go through Lewandowski because I do think they are going to be decent enough. But I think with Lawan, he's like Kane. He's a very specific sort of striker. Big, bulky hold up. He has got a bit of pace on this version, which is always nice. He managed to get a +7 to his player of the month or a 2 to his total rush, which is always fantastic. Managed to get the power shot. I would, for me, personally prefer Kane at this point until Lawan eventually gets his upgrade, which naturally he will do. Now, that is going to be all the strikers for today. Let me know down below what you think and who is your single or dual partnership as a striker up front. Take care. Peace.